As a beginner in the field of programming, we are mostly told to write a lot of code and do projects, work on projects to build our portfolio. Most times, I think we don't really get what this means. We think that this project should be something big, like building the next Facebook or the next Twitter app, or maybe even the next Google.com. We think about all of this as something that we should be building. Well, these are good projects to take on. I'm not going to take them from you. But honestly, when they tell you to start building projects as a beginner, they are not referring to this kind of projects. They want you to do something very simple that would help you get conversant with the skills that you've acquired in whichever programming language that you choose to learn. This is a calculator. You can think of it as a scientific calculator. It has a lot of functionalities. It has other things. But today we are going to be basing on 4 major things: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and maybe this equal to sign over here. Well, what we are going to be building today is to build this particular calculator app, but then we are going to limit it. We are going to build it as beginners, someone who doesn't know maybe a lot of things about programming. Let's say you just finished reading a book on Python, teaching you the syntax and everything. You just learned the programming. You might want to build this so that you improve your skills. I'm going to liken my terminal to this screen, my keyboard to this, my enter key to the equal to, and then the addition and subtraction. Well, I trust you'll be able to write that. Maybe I can use an X for multiplication. A division, the slash would be okay. This is a very simple project, but it has a lot of things to teach you. It helps you get conversant with the language that you just learned. And in today's video, I'm going to be using Python to try and build a calculator app. Now, we'll be taking an expression from the user. So I'm going to create a variable called expression, and I'm going to, assign that to an input from the user. Input. And I'm going to be a little bit descriptive to the user. So I'll write expression here so that the user will know what they are entering. These key things, these small details are very necessary for you to know how exactly to express yourself to the user. Remember, you are building the application for the user, not for yourself. Now, when you get this expression, let's assume that this expression satisfies all that we need. Let's tell the user to maybe write x in terms of multiplication. So what we would like to do is to maybe put into brackets here and say x for multiplication. It's very simple. The user should understand this. I mean, everyone should understand this, right? Now, let's say we have something like this. Now, if we take the input from the user, what we would like to do is to replace all the x's in the string. Obviously, we know that the input will be a string. So we would like to replace all the x's in the string with a star so that it would conform with Python's syntax. So what we would like to do is to do expression dot replace. We want to replace all x's, small x, with a star. Now, after doing this, what do we want to do? We want to find the result of whatever expression they've given us. So we want to do result to be equal to. Now, there is this function in Python called the evaluate function. How to evaluate any Pythonic expression that you have. So I'm going to pass this expression to that, and all I'm going to do is to print out the result to the user. So I could use an F string here and be like, I could use an F string here and be like, maybe result. I can be a little bit more descriptive, and then I'll be like answer is equal to result, or I can write an answer with a space, however I want to do it. I prefer, a colon, and then I would like to leave a space here. We would like to run our Python file. Yes, we run a Python file, gives us all of these. Maybe we give 3x2. First thing we notice, an error. This is totally fine. Yes, you need to have this error so that you know what will be happening. Now, it's telling us that on line 5, they were not able to identify this. It means that they were not able to replace the x here. So obviously, your way of using or should I say, my way of using the dot replace doesn't make sense. So in actual sense, this returns the new form of the string. So what I should have done was to write a new expression and equate it to this, so that this new form of the string that is returned will now be stored in the variable expression. So I'm going to do that, store it, go back into my terminal. I want to clear the place so that the place will be clean. Then I want to run the code again. I'm going to try again 3 times 2, or maybe 3 times 1. Well, this one gives me an answer as 3. Now, yes, this code seems to be working. It seems to be returning the answer that we wanted. 3 times 1 is equal to 3. Yes, but then there is more to it. This is not the end of the project. We want to be able to build something that users can use. Come on, let me show you something. Let's say the user decides to enter something very stupid. Well, something like this. Well, then you realize I get another error again, syntax error, and that's another problem. So I would like to understand how the thing is. There is something that we call error handling. So what I would like to do is to use a try and except block to do this, so that in case there is any error, I'll tell the user that it is an invalid syntax, because we don't want our program to be yelling at the user. I mean, the user wouldn't understand this. If the user is not someone who codes, the user wouldn't understand this. So what I'm going to do is to try this first. I'm going to try this, and I'm going to accept. Now, these are things that you should consider. Would you like to accept? Would you like to accept just the name error, just the name error type of error that we got over here, or you like to accept everything? You don't know yet, so maybe you can just use an accept block, and then maybe print to the user that invalid syntax. Maybe invalid syntax too is some way. Invalid input is better. So we save this again, then we try again. Go back to our terminal, we clear, we run, and we type something stupid. Well, after typing something stupid, it tells us that result is not defined. It tells us the invalid input, but then the print statement couldn't work. So what you should have done is to put this print statement back under here, so that it only happens when it's able to calculate result. And that makes sense. That makes very good sense. I'm going to clear again, run again, and I'm going to try again. Now it tells me invalid input. So our program seems to be performing a little bit better than it was before, but then we are still not done. We want to be able to make the thing production ready. So we need to work on our project, make it more efficient. Now if you look at our code right now, it basically runs once and stops. You wouldn't want someone to be running the code anytime you want to calculate something. Obviously, the calculator is always available for input. So we want our calculator, in this case our program, to be able to do the same. So for that, we are going to use a while loop. So we come back here, we clear everything, we go back to our code. So we can do something like this. While true, you should do all of this. Well, if you run this code right now, this is an infinite loop, which means that the thing will be available every single time. So if I do this plus this 26, that is correct. It asks me again, I put something stupid, invalid input. Perfect. We try again. Our program seems to be working a whole lot better. We like what we are saying. That is true. But then we don't want our program to be running forever. We want to have a way for the user to be able to quit the program. What we could do is to take a special character for the user that would represent quitting the particular application that we are talking about. So let's say we tell the user to enter Q to quit. Let's do that. So we go back to our program. Now this is the message that is displayed to the user. So we can write there, enter Q to quit. So we could print something before, enter Q to quit. Very simple. Now, so if expression is equal to Q, quit. So right here, just after the expression is given, we are going to put an if statement there. If expression dot lower is equal to Q. Well, we want this to be in quotation marks, right? If expression is equal to Q, we want to break out of this loop. Well, yes, this is very nice. Really nice. Seems to be working right. I'm going to put a next line character over here so that the thing will be organized. The dot lower method over here is supposed to make sure that even if the user enters a capital Q, it would still recognize it and be able to quit the game. Well, if you're here with me right now, I thank you for watching up to this point. I intentionally decided to make certain errors, like the replace, which I didn't use correctly. I didn't start off by building a whole thing at once. I wanted to attack it from a beginner's point of view, how the person would suffer, how you would debug your code, and make certain corrections to make your app a whole lot better. Now, you would be thinking, this is just a very simple program. Obviously, you are not going to deploy this program anyway. You are not going to, it's not ready for production. That's just to say it. This program is not ready for production. But what you have learned today is to be able to apply what you know. You learned while loops, you learned if statement, you learned error handling, all of that. And now you are able to apply it into something that is sensible to you. You've built a calculator. Well, not a scientific calculator, but it is still a calculator, and it works like a calculator. For the record, if you think that even what I've written could be made better, feel free, leave a comment down in the comment section. Of course, I'll go and read all of them. I do well to read all my comments. That's my way of interacting with you. And as always, feel free to connect with me on Twitter. Like I said, tweet to me, DM me, follow me if you want to. I tweet my thoughts over there. I call them 44 thoughts. Anyways, that's it for this video. I thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy it, you know what to do. Leave a like and check out my other videos on the channel. Subscribe if you're new around here. If you'd like to get started with programming, there will be a video up here. Click on that video, go watch it. It will help you get started with programming. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.